Hardwire today. My voice lagging?
Not anymore. It was. I do think I need to turn you down just a little bit. Say something.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, you actually sound pretty decent.
You guys get to host fucking NFC championship.
Test. Testing the sound.
You sound good. You sound fine. Get to host the NFC championship. I think that changes. I think that may change a few of my not a few. I think it just changes one team. I think you guys Packers at home is a different football team.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
Sound is good. Video's pretty good. Your lighting is really good. I'm still a ghost. Oh, by the way. It came in today, so... Or not today, this week. And I knew I was going to wear it today.
Nice. I'm going to play that later. Actually really like the game. I don't know. Not even that far.
You're like an hour into it. All right. Lalelulelo. Ready?
We live?
Yeah. We've been live. I was just checking to see how it sounded over the Twitch stream. So this new way we got to put in the voice in. That's the way to do it. All right.
Right.
Thank you for tapping into Some Untapped Keg, episode 45. I'm one of your hosts, RJ Zimmerman, here with my brother-in-law, Monte Ball. You probably are feeling pretty good, aren't you, today, big guy? Internet issues figured out.
Feeling really good, man. Feeling good. I hardwired in. So, again, we always state that we appreciate everybody being patient with us as us two amateurs figure out which platform is going to be the best, how audio is going to sound, how the video is going to look, and I think we might got it right now. So things are well on my end, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually feel a lot better about our audio and everything. One of the podcasts I listen to, they've been doing it for 6 years, and every once in a while they still have issues. So, we're still figuring out this OBS thing and making our own scenes. And we got one day we'll have like graphics popping up, like audio issue, be like a throwback, or we'll throw up our new sports podcast started this week, or it's still, the channel's still not up, but we have the pilot up on our main channel. That was really fun, and I feel like having that will really open up this podcast too to other things that we want to talk about. Like, right. We love to talk to each other about sports, and I don't know. I think that when we talk about sports, it's like two buddies just at the bar, having a couple club sodas and BSing over it. But that's and that'll be the fun of it. But this podcast, we really felt that we were starting to get away from sobriety and how it's affecting our life and stuff. So that's what this one's going to be about, and then kind of like our hobbies. So I guess, let's kind of get into it. How was your week?
let's do it, man. And I appreciate you mentioning that early on, RJ, and because yeah, we take everyone's feedback to heart, and we really appreciate people giving us feedback. So yeah, I think we were straying a little bit away from the reason why we started this. I think it's going to be good to get back into that. But for me, man, what are we towards the end of the week, really? And I guess in the whole, man, I've been doing really good, man. As a whole, been doing very good. Been doing very well. Um, stressful, of course. Obviously, the start of the pandemic, we expressed all of our frustration, um, being annoyed, all that early on in our episodes. But now, kind of, I'm hoping we're kind of on that coming out of this bubble sense, in a sense. But I don't know, man. I'm doing well. I've been staying true to my sobriety. I've been feeling really good. Um, I kind of want to see how you've been doing, man.
Um, the start of the week was pretty good. I can't really complain too much about work. Uh, Other than some people take it too serious, but that you'll have that.
Right.
I like to laugh and have some fun at my own expense. Some people take that serious, so I gotta watch out a little bit when I do that. But I think you guys know that I like to joke around, maybe a little bit too much. Um, yeah, you know what? I think part of the hope is, um, that you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as far as the pandemic goes, you can really see things that, yeah, it may not be back to complete and total normal, but you might be able to go to the movie theater again. You might be able to take your kids to a store. You might be able to go to the trampoline park, the indoor trampoline park. That'd be pretty sweet. Uh, yeah, I've kind of felt bad because I haven't been able to take my kids anywhere fun, especially my youngest who doesn't know what it's like to go to the trampoline park and be able to run. Like, he just knows what it's like to be held by mommy or daddy and jumping a little bit and then watching brother have fun. So I'm excited for that. That's a little bit stressful. I didn't realize how stressed I was until last night. I was not sleeping good from, like, honestly, the entire week I didn't sleep very good. Well,
Oh, geez.
Watch out for the grammar police. I'm sorry, I didn't sleep well.
Mm.
Um, my dreams were super, like, realistic. My anxiety got a little bit high early in the week, and then that during the game yesterday I was super stressed too. Like, my stress reliever is cooking, and I cooked a lot this week, so that's one thing. But
Yeah.
there were definitely times where it's like, a beer would be really nice right now, but
Agree.
can't really get that
I
beer
think
unless you're gonna have 20 with me. So I'm just not gonna even start.
No, I think let's dive. I think we should dive more into that. Because I think, like I said, we'd be doing a disservice not really explaining that, and we're diving more into that. I want to hear more about, and then I'll chime in after you obviously share, but more about what is the thought pattern? What is the thought pattern for you when you get stressed? Like, what kind of system do you go through in your mind? Because obviously, prior to you becoming sober, it was okay. I'm stressed. Boom, alcohol. Alcohol's right there. Alcohol was the first thing I went towards. Now, like right now, you just stated that there were times where you thought, oh, a beer would taste really good right now. What got you to that? Like, what was that thought process? Like, okay, cooking is not helping my stress level right now. Um, I'm not getting any sleep, so that's obviously not helping my stress level. Trying to think of those hobbies that we have now that help for our stressors. Why didn't those work? You know what I mean? For you to get to that point of I want to drink. You know what
Well,
I'm asking. Hopefully,
yeah, I didn't really trigger on how stressed out I was. I just thought it was like normal daily stress, like not getting a lot of sleep. Um,
right.
Small things get a little bit irritating, so I'm more tired. You just got some issues with you know, they thinking about the world that it is right now, like and I mean honestly, and especially struggles of other people who don't look like me, minorities, like marginalized
Mhm.
people, trying to I just don't understand the mindset where you refuse to see the struggles. That gets to me a little bit. And then like I don't know why. I don't know why. I've tried to step away from being such a fan and letting it control my emotions. Like if I notice that I'm starting to get more stressed out, I'll just walk away from a game. Like I won't watch it. Um,
Yeah.
but for some reason, this game, I just I was so stressed out about it, and I didn't realize it was the game that was stressing me out um, until it was over, and uh, I just that was adding on top of it too. So when I feel myself be really stressed, it kind of starts as like a knot in my stomach,
Mm.
and then like there was a couple times this week I didn't eat dinner. Like if I'm not eating full meals and I'm kind of just snacking, that tells me I'm stressed about something.
Right.
Um, and then if I'm short with my kids, like that kind of gets is another um is another trigger that I'm really stressed. But like it's the drive, like when I'm driving to and from work, because it's a half hour, sometimes up to an hour. And you just
Right.
sit there and think. That's when I notice, or that's when I start to think, man, a beer would taste really good right now. And usually when that happens, I'll stop and get a Mountain Dew and a little Debbie, and like that's kind of my vice now. I've cut like I've
Sugar.
I've cut soda out a ton. Like I've I've upped my water and I've dropped my soda for about a month now, and I feel I have a lot more energy even like without coffee. I have to do better on the weekends, but like I need to just continue to drink more water. It's helped me out a lot. My body feel strong. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, when I didn't like go to my usually my you know stress relief is sometimes cooking, but then also if my the house or the kitchen gets really messy, which is a byproduct of cooking, that could add on to my stress. If I look over and I'm like, I don't really want to cook because I don't want to do these dishes and I don't want to, you know, make
Right.
even more of a mess. Um, but like stories, like reading, video games, obviously,
Mm.
um, and like good TV shows or movies, like a good story is a really big stress reliever for me. It makes my brain kind of get creative, and it kind of it opens it up a little bit, opens my brain up. It makes it focus on something other than what's going on right there, and it might be able to trigger something that'll help me deal with the stress that's going on too. So um, yeah, that's kind of my thought process. And yeah, it's just still every once in a while you're just like, a beer would taste really good, and that'd be pretty easy to stress relieve
Right.
rather than having to figure out what you need at that moment in time.
You know what's I appreciate you sharing that, man, because I think it's us diving more in to this stuff. I think is awesome, and obviously it's mutually beneficial for us, obviously for those listening. And I think we have a lot of similarities. Of course, for me, it's I believe I'm a little bit more impulsive than you are, which is my curse. And
Well, that's a learn. I've learned to like hide those impulses a little bit more. Comes with age
that's
a little
true.
bit.
That's true. But for me, it's my to get real serious here, my crutch for the longest, and I'm still working on it. Obviously, like we always state, it's a journey. You continuously learn more and more about yourself. The more and more you refrain from using and use the tools to help you to stay away from it. For me, my crutch is fear of missing out. Um, I'll be honest.
Uh,
I'm gonna be completely honest here. For me, this year, 2020, or excuse me, last year of 2020 was easier for me because there were no bars that were open. There were no videos of people posting, my friends posting videos of them at the club partying, drinking, having a good time and stuff like that. It's just to be completely 100% honest here. It was, I don't want to say easier as if it was an easy 2020. What I'm saying is, yeah, I had the urges, but they weren't as, I guess, heightened as they were in the past once I, started to stop drinking. But what I'm getting at is, for me, that fear of missing out really gets me. Something I'm still working on because I loved partying. Never really loved the taste of alcohol. I never really loved, um, I never drank by myself. I loved the attention. I loved the bottle service, the just that whole look at me thingy, which obviously is a significant insecurity issue in itself that I had to work through. But long story short, last year for me in 2020, um, that fear of missing out really wasn't, you know, weighing heavy on me because of the pandemic. Many people weren't out partying. Many people weren't posting on Snapchat their parties that they were at, Instagram their parties. So I guess what I'm getting at is social media can be a trigger as well.
oh yeah,
Social media can
oh
be a
yeah.
trigger. Watching people party, watching people drink and stuff. I think I would be lying right now to our listeners if I said I don't miss the partying. I wouldn't say I'm like yearning for it, but I'm only 4 years in. I still got a long way to go, but it's I miss, I guess, that feeling is I'm still working on pulling myself, keep furthering, distancing myself from that lifestyle. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Well,
It's still, I'm still working on it, and that fear of missing out is something that I have to continuously keep working on.
do you think
Eliminating.
do you think you'd be able to go to the club and hang out without drinking, or do you think being there it's going to be overwhelming that you have to
I,
drink?
yeah, see, I think I'm at that point now to where I honestly believe that I can be in an atmosphere and not drink. If everybody's drunk, I strongly believe that I can do it. I've actually already done it before. I think in 2018.
Was it difficult? Was it easy? Did you
It's
feel
weird.
the it is weird. Did
Weird.
did you feel like so I'll go out with the guys after work sometimes and I'll
Right.
always buy a round. Like they're always like, "Oh, why are you buying a round? You're not drinking." It's like doesn't mean that I can't buy you guys one. Like I'm not buying it so you guys can get drunk. I'm buying it cuz I appreciate
Just courtesy.
being with you guys. Like, yeah. Um so and honestly, I appreciate their company. Like we're friends. So that's what you do.
Right.
Um every once in a while, I'll be handing a beer and I'll catch a whiff of it. And unlike you, I loved the taste of alcohol. Like, you know, obviously not every alcohol, but
Right.
like, and especially beer. I really like beer. Um, especially good beer. But like if I'm handing someone a Miller Lite, that was my beer choice when I was drinking cheap beer. And I'll get a smell of it, and I'll be like, I'll go to put it to my mouth, and I'll be, oh wait, no. And that was like the last time I almost took a drink of it. That was like 3-4 years in. I haven't had that where I got it almost to my lips, and I'm like, wait, no. Like that was that when I caught myself, I'm like, that's old habit. That's a really old habit. Oh my goodness, how many times have I've probably done that like 20,000 times. So it's gonna take just as long not to like you smell it and you have it held in between your fingers and you're like, I was like, oh my, what the heck?
That's the thing. Let's be honest here. That's the thing, man. Our listeners deserve this. For me, it's I never drank alone, but there's something I don't want people to misinterpret this when I say I miss it as if like, oh my God, I can't wait to get back to it. No, it's just someone who's in recovery. It's a journey. It's a process of continuously removing your emotions from it. For me, it was just complete bliss being at the bar at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, maybe even 1 p.m. on a Saturday, which that alone states that I had a problem. Watching some games while having a few beers right in front of me. That that was something that I always did, and obviously, it became doing it on Sunday, it became doing it on Mondays, and Tuesdays when it was our days off from of practice in the NFL. So, I guess what I'm getting at is for those who are tuning in, we most definitely understand it. We get it. Uh, we get it. We're in recovery. It's something that we're still working on, pushing ourselves away from. Um, and I'm just glad that I'm in the position I am now, and I'm glad that we got this podcast. So, back on the topic of stressors, and I'll let you take it over. For me right now, let's say, my biggest stressor right now. My biggest stressor right now is I need to buy a house.
But do you really need to is the thing.
That's true. That's true.
But no, I understand that. Like you feel like you have like a hole missing. Like you're looking at around it.
Yeah.
Everything you have, and you're like, okay, what do I have to be proud of? And
yeah,
it can be overwhelming. It can be because you're hard on yourself, right? You're really hard on yourself. You see the things that your friends had, or in your case, like your teammates have, or your former teammates, or like like what me and Ashley have, and that makes you probably long for stuff. But
I mean, I'll be honest, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're a really big crutch for us. Like, the way that you help, you're a big pillar. So you need to stop being so hard on yourself, especially in Dane County. Like, dude, it's so expensive. You really need to think about it.
I appreciate that. I think it's for me, and then again, I'll shut up and let you go on. I don't think I've been real honest. I mean, to people, I yearn for success because I had such a major setback um, on my trajectory, on my path. And then obviously when I look in the NFL and I see, Melvin Gordon balling out, I see Jonathan Taylor balling out, I see James White balling out. It's like, it hurts me because I gave that up for alcohol. And and now I don't have alcohol, which I'm glad I don't have alcohol, but you see what I'm saying? I gave up my dream for alcohol and then I no longer have alcohol. So essentially I gave it up for no reason. Um, because I know for a fact sober Monte in the NFL would still be playing. So that's a huge stressor for me. I guess it's that what if, that dwelling, something that I still got to work on moving past. But it's a challenge, but I'll get there. Your guys' support helps me a lot.
That's yeah, that's tough. I mean, I talk about The Fringe every once in a while. It's one of my favorite TV shows, especially sci-fi. I really love sci-fi storytelling because it can be really creative and can make you really think about possibilities. Right. There's a line in that show that I think about a lot when I think about what ifs. And that's, you can't paralyze yourself with hypotheticals, because if you do that, then you're really not letting yourself move on, not letting yourself live up to your potential. So when I start thinking about that's not the exact line. You can't paralyze yourself with hypotheticals because you need to move on, I think is the line. But like, it really stuck with me. Like, if I'm sitting there thinking about what ifs, if I'm sitting there thinking about like things that could have changed in my past, things like I'm sober because I'm not proud of the things that I did in the past. I was not proud of the person I was. I was not proud of the friend I was, the partner I was, all the above. You don't go sober because everything is good. You know, you go sober because there's a problem. That's if you do go sober because everything is good, good for you. Like I don't know how that happens. That's amazing. Um but if you start thinking dwelling about all of that, you won't be able to make moves to set yourself up better for the future. So that's something to think about. I know it's really hard. I mean, you're at a lot higher level than I ever was. And it's only
But I mean,
natural to think about what if.
yeah, it's same message though. I mean, it's still relatable. You know, for everybody who made the decision to go sober, I think it's safe to say a majority of us who made that decision, we did some things just like you stated, did some things in our past we're not proud
Probably
of, and we don't want to repeat.
99.9% of the people who are sober.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to repeat it. So, I guess in a nutshell, you know, I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. It's cliche, but you know, it's almost you kind of have to think that way because uh, just like you stated, if I don't move on, if I don't allow for that to really be at rest, not being in the NFL, then I will remain paralyzed, um, figuratively speaking. So it's and I know that many people listening dwell on past mistakes. We most definitely do. It's unfortunate that it's
Human
natural.
nature.
Yep, it's unfortunate that it's natural, and I think the best way to get over or uh, to really help yourself to get over, what you're dwelling on is for me, it was talking to somebody. Man, those one-on-one counseling sessions, I'm telling you, man, there's something very powerful about, like I said, just walking into a room or even doing it virtually, dumping all your stressors, what's bothering you, your emotions onto somebody else, and leaving or signing out. Um, that really, really helped me out, and also that change of perspective really helped me out to understand that no matter what, the game of football was going to end, no matter what. Oh, yeah, it ended a little sooner for me, but it was going to end no matter what. So just that change of perspective is really what's helping me out. Again, I'm not fully there yet. I will get there, but I can at least tap back into that little nugget that I learned.
I mean, are we ever fully there?
That's a
I don't
really
know.
good point.
I don't know if it is. Um,
Let's talk about that actually, because I think that's a really good topic, RJ. And I take my glass. That's a really good topic because I think about that too for people who just start their journey. There really isn't a finish line.
no.
You know what I'm saying? And that can be destabilizing for some. Like it's okay, now I'm sober. Okay, I've been sober for a year now. Now what? Is this gonna be it forever?
I mean, I've been
Like there's no
sober for a month. Is that, that's,
right.
I'm good now. I can do it now.
There's no
Like,
parade, no finish line. First. There's no first place gold medal. Um, so I think that topic is a really good one, and I'd love for you to kind of share more about that, man, because
well,
that's a good one.
I mean, 7 years sober and I just talked about still getting cravings, right? Like, my dad is 30 years sober
That's incredible.
and, he's approaching 30 years sober. He says that he still gets cravings every once in a while. We saw that post from, and was it Anthony Hopkins or was it? Oh no, it was
Yep.
oh gosh, oh man, I'm forgetting the name. Elton John. Elton John
Yep.
said if it wasn't for AA meetings being virtual, he would have gone back to his substances. So it doesn't ever go away. Doesn't
Right.
it? Does it get easier? Sure. Like you create different environments that'll help you not fall back into what you did before, whether that be alcohol, cocaine, whatever. Like,
Right.
I feel like we have it easy because I shouldn't say easy. We have it easier because we are not recovering from like an opioid, where it's a physical, like super physical attraction, right? Um, I'm glad that I never got into those harder drugs. There were a few times where I was like in college, I was like, you know what, I might as well try it once. I mean, I'm not gonna get addicted to it. Glad I never did because I was probably gonna get
Yeah.
addicted to it. But it's like, well, I just want to try it once, just that one time, just see what that feeling is. Um, yeah, that's it. You create, your gosh darn it, I'm struggling for words this morning, but you
Well,
just
here you go. I'll chime in on that
all right.
question. I'll give you a question. So what do you mean by you know you know creating your own social connections, creating your own environments? Now, RJ, say I'm 30 days in, and I haven't really been trying to reach out, create my social network of those who are sober. So what do you recommend as like? And again, I don't want to be interviewing you, but I think these are good nuggets for people. Like, how did you? What was your first step
For well, for
of creating
me,
that?
all right. For me, it was talking to my friends, my good friends, letting them know, like, hey, I'm doing this. Like, I can't handle it. The
Yeah,
last, you know, 2 to 3 years, it was probably more than that, that I drank. I didn't drink a lot. Like, I'd go a month, maybe two without drinking. But every single time I drank, I blacked out. I drank until I blacked out. Um, that wasn't sustainable. I was going to end up dead, right? So I reached out to my friends and I told them, "Hey, I'm doing this and I'm serious. Like this is happening. I'm not doing it again no matter what." And I had some really good friends who were like, "I understand. I'll be there for you. Like, you need to talk about it. Talk about it." I also had a dad who went sober and I think he was similar to me where he didn't drink a lot, but when he did, he drank it all. Like um yeah, I mean, I the reason that people go sober, it's your own personal reasons, right? Everybody's rock bottom's different. Everybody's look at themselves is different. Really, it's an introspective look, and sometimes it takes something serious in order
right.
for you to have that introspective look. Um, it's something. It's a decision that you make being sober. It's a decision you make for yourself. You might think you're doing it for your kids, you're doing it for your wife, you're doing it for your family. But if you don't do it for yourself, ultimately you're going to go back to it. That's when you fail. Like that's when
You gotta be
I did it,
selfish.
right? Like I think I don't even think I was 21. I went sober for 2 months and then I was like, "You know what? I'm good now. I haven't drank for 2 months. I'll be fine. I'll be able to uh drink some now and I won't drink all of it." But no, I went right back to it. Um that should have been the start where I realized that I just can't make good decisions around alcohol. So yeah, I would say it was talking to my friends, them being understanding, me laying out like you can still drink around me like that. I have no issues with that, but I'm not going to. And if I start to feel the uh, need or the pressure, then I'm just gonna leave. And
Mhm.
like I said, I've had really really close friends and really good friends that I had somebody I could talk to about it, um, and they would actually listen. So I think that that's the first step: is you have to be honest with your friends, family members. You got to find like those one or two people that you can talk to about it that aren't just going to ridicule you. I did have one friend that would ridicule me about it. Like you need to grow up. You need to stop being a baby about it or whatever. You just drink. You'll be fine. And
He
I
probably
just
had the approach of probably he was probably annoyed of you
yes,
because he was probably like, oh, he's this righteous act,
yep,
you know, and which that happens, that does happen, which that's obviously a direct reflection of their security. When you are the sober one in the group, it in a sense it makes everybody else, it like forces them to have to self-reflect. And sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. because people will be like, "Oh wait, am I drinking too much? Am I? Oh man, I did do that crazy thing last week, but I was just drunk, so it doesn't matter." So people feel uncomfortable with
Well,
that.
I mean, that's another good thing. When you meet new people and they ask if you what you want to drink, and you tell them, "Oh, you don't want alcohol?" No, I'm sober. Immediately they'll come back with, "Oh, I don't drink often. I'm just drinking because such and such."
Yep.
Oh, I only pretty much drink on the weekends, and usually it's like one or two.
Yeah.
Every single time people respond that way. It's like, dude, I don't care. I'm just telling you I'm sober. I didn't say you had to be
Right.
sober. It's a
Yeah. It's like
personal
I don't like
decision.
guacamole. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can eat guacamole or me. I don't like it, so I don't eat it. I don't care how much you eat.
Guacamole's delicious.
No. So I mean, I think man, when we sit here and when we talk about when we sit here and talk about alcohol and stuff, I think I want to bring up the topic, man, of so I'm in the field of mental health, in the field of recovery here in Wisconsin, and I see all the work that is going on in just say in Dane County with DHS, Department of Human Services, and there is a significant. I mean, for the last 3 to 4 years, there's been this huge push, this release of funds for opioids. Obviously, providing aid, providing more resources, providing um,
Education.
more peer support practice, education, exactly, for the opioid crisis. And I think that's good. I think that's brilliant. But I feel like there's not enough push that same emergency packet or what have you package for alcohol. I don't think I think we're missing the ball on alcohol. I know that the DHS here in Wisconsin has this small talks campaign, and it's a campaign to um, educate our youth on the effects of underage drinking. I think that is awesome, but just started. I think in the summer of last year, maybe even in the fall. I think we're really missing the ball, or what have you, here on alcohol, on the use of alcohol, on the excessive use of alcohol, on the accessibility of alcohol. Now, with the accessibility part, I just saw on the news this past week, and again, I think it's due to the pandemic, but bars, small business owners are losing a lot of money because of the pandemic, that being bars. Well, the Tavern League here in Wisconsin is talking about allowing for bars to have takeout for alcohol. You heard it, takeout for alcohol. Now, again, the argument is, okay, what's the difference of that than obviously a liquor store? Okay, true, but this is Wisconsin. I just don't know if that's going to be handled well. I don't. Allowing for people to walk into a bar, get a drink, like physically have one and walk out or pull up to the bar and they bring out your liquor to you in your car. I don't know how that's going to go over. So I guess all in all, what I'm getting at is I think we are really, really missing a significant amount of education for our youth, for our teenagers, etc., for our adults on the effects of alcoholism and unfortunately how common it is, how it impacts the family household. So I really, man, want to hear on your thoughts on that. Are you seeing a good amount of a push for the education in alcohol here in the state of Wisconsin,
Well,
knowing that this love to drink?
thinking, I mean, I'm not even anywhere near that field, right? I don't have kids that are in school. I don't
Yeah,
really, I'm not
but
around that out, but from my outsider perspective, no. Like uh it's not just that we drink a lot of alcohol, it's that we drink a lot of alcohol is Wisconsin's pride. Um
during an event,
it's a point of pride that you go to spring break and there's drinking competitions, but nobody from Wisconsin's allowed in it. Um it's a point of pride, and that's whether it's Florida, Mississippi, Mexico, wherever people are going. Um, You know, it's a point of pride that you go somewhere from Wisconsin and people are like, oh, I'm going to drink you under the table. And then next thing you know, Wisconsin's the only one standing. Like, that's a point of pride. That is pushed from like high school on. Like, you start talking about it in high school and it's a point of pride in high school. And then you're like, I'm going to carry that on too. I don't know how it's changed. My assumption is it hasn't. That's how it is for high schoolers across Wisconsin. So, I mean, there's more accessibility to information than there was when I was in high school. I mean, yeah, we had the internet when I was in grade school. We had the internet when I was in high school, but it's just different from how the internet is now.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's a good point, man. I think it's when we talk about the state of Wisconsin. Again, we don't want for people to misinterpret as if we don't love the state of Wisconsin. Um, there's many great things about the state, but just when it comes to the use of alcohol, one of my goals, and then again, this is a beast that I'm going to be facing, but one of my goals is to, I want to start to change the culture. And again, that's a monster that I'm facing. That's a monster with a lot of history in it, but start some campaigns of changing the culture around Wisconsin. Wisconsin has so many other great things than just to brag about the excessive use of alcohol. Obviously, it's your Packers, Brewers, got Badgers. You got many other great things with the state of Wisconsin. The impact that cheese has had on the state. Culver's, just how great of a landmark that is here in the state. But I feel like the way that alcohol is advertised here doesn't help. The way that it's sold, the way that it's pushed for selling is it's not beneficial for those who obviously are trying to remain sober. From it, it's different here. It's a different culture. It's a different lifestyle. People know that, and I just wonder, where do you begin? Where do
Like,
you begin?
I mean, I'm 7 years sober, been at my job for 7 years, and every once in a while, people still try to make me feel guilty for being sober. It's usually the same.
Insane.
It's usually the same people, but yeah, like I know there's more than a few guys that want to see what I'm like when I'm drunk, and I'm like, yeah, you guys would probably have fun, but I would probably feel really crappy about myself in the morning. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it's changing that culture is that's gonna take years. That's gonna take generations. It's a generational thing. That's for
Right.
sure. So
It is. It is.
I commend you for it. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's
just thinking about my family, like we never talked about the trappings of it, like why my dad went sober. We never really talked about it other than for his job. Basically. Even now I don't know if he really would be completely honest about why he went sober. I don't know. I went sober because it wasn't gonna be sustainable for a family. Like I was not gonna stay faithful to my now wife. Like that was a guarantee. I was not gonna be a good father to my kids. I couldn't be someone they could look up and be proud of. Like that's what I want more than anything. That's what kind of drove me. That was my FOMO, was people didn't like hanging out with me unless I was drunk, or people didn't like, I was never really accepted. So I'd get drunk and I'd overcompensate to be accepted. Like I just never felt accepted. I never felt, it was my low self-esteem that was pushing it. So, and I mean, my self-esteem is very fragile. Sometimes I'll have confidence. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I look back, not just sometimes, a lot of the times I look back on decisions, even comments that I made back in 8th grade. I remember conversations, things that I said, and I'm like, man, I'm a jerk. Man, I am a POS, man. I can't believe people still talk to me. Like, yeah, that's real. That's something that you have to come to terms with, that everybody makes mistakes and it's okay. It's
Right.
okay to to accept that you made a mistake and grow. So that's what we want to build, right? We want to be able to say we made a mistake and build off of it. And being naive, that's another thing that you can try to turn it around, but you have to want to see things in order to see them, and that you can't. Sometimes you can't do until you actually physically experience it, right? So
Right.
that's something else too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
trying to show people.
I mean, yeah, I think those are all good reasons to stop. My reasons, I was just an arrogant a-hole when I drink. Loved the attention. It was just a just a bad person, bad lifestyle, terrible partner. Um, just things that I needed to change. And every time that I was in those situations where I was being a jerk, where I was doing things where like, why I've never done that. Why did that happen? It was always when I was drunk. Uh, so that's the reason why I had to put the bottle down, and the reason why I'm going to stay away from it. And obviously, having a support system helps me out now today. And it's just, again, yeah. I mean, like I said, we can go on forever and ever about, I guess, the reasons why we stopped. But I think, like you said, we got to continuously focus on how we are staying away from it, like providing our
Yeah,
reasons as to how we are staying away from it, because it's everywhere. And that's kind of why I brought up the whole topic about Wisconsin, is because of the way that it's advertised.
there's no
It's
staying away from
acceptable.
it.
Exactly. Well, it's acceptable here in this state. Not really acceptable. It's common in this state. Obviously, without a pandemic, to walk into a bar and see a family with, maybe two teenagers, sitting there next to their drunk parents, or maybe even having a drink with their parents. That's not uncommon
That's
here in this
acceptable.
state.
It's not just
Yeah.
common. That is acceptable.
Yeah. So I think it's when we sit here and when we talk about why the reasons why we stop drinking, it's all about now. What are the reasons? How are we staying away from it? How are we minimizing the urges? How are we staying focused on being excited for a sober future? I can understand how people who are sober are no longer excited. I understand how people who are sober today don't see a thrilling filled future. Because I mean, we can get real scientific here with it. Obviously, the use of alcohol or any sort of addiction, in a sense, is that reward system in your brain. So then it's like, okay, I'm putting that down. I know some people who are like, okay, like I feel as if I'm just going through the motions now with life. Oh, cool. I got promoted.
I was in that actually. I could talk about that. Like I hit
Yeah,
autopilot after my second son was born. I hit that
yeah,
autopilot hard for about 6 months. Like, it got so bad that um Ashley, my partner, he said was like, you're dragging me down with you. Like things are not okay. You go to work, you come home, sometimes you make dinner, put the kids to bed, and then that's it. And then you go to bed. Like that's all you do. We don't talk. We don't have conversations. If we talk, it's about the kids. Like that's it. This isn't a sustainable partnership. This isn't a way to thrive.
right.
And when she brought that up, that's when I went to therapy. That's when I also like got treated for ADHD. Like it got to the point I couldn't think of common words, like because of all the stress I was under. Like I lost 20 pounds because of stress. Most nights I wasn't eating. Like, um, it was basically I was taking care of the kids. I felt like I was taking care of her. And then I was going to bed and doing it all over again. And that was it. But I wasn't really taking care of her, and I wasn't really playing with the kids very much either. Like
So
I
I
was
like that,
just
man.
doing.
I like this because that is, yeah, the autopilot is what, you just put a good title on that, or tag that, which is what I was trying to explain, and that's what it is, that autopilot mode. Oh, I got a new promotion, great. Bought a new car, cool. Um, no, there's who are attached to a drug and or alcohol. It's that high, that high that we're attached to, and obviously putting that down. How do you get excited anymore? I guess, man, like for me, it's what makes me just as excited or thrilled as alcohol did. For me, man, it's helping other people. As selfish
Same,
as
same.
yeah, as selfish as it sounds, like I said, I'm just gonna be real here. As selfish as this is going to sound, it's true. I want to see how many people I can personally help because it makes me feel better about myself. Um, it helps me to stay away from alcohol, and I almost want to keep like a sort of list, not of names, of course, but of how ways that I've helped people. Um, that's where I get my high nowadays is Monte Ball helping the homeless population. Monte Ball serving meals at a food pantry. Um, in a sense, I'm still receiving that attention, and again, I'm still working on why I need that attention, some void that I'm trying to fill, but mutually beneficial. It helps the people that I'm helping, and it helps myself. So I'm just gonna really be honest right there, and I don't think I've ever shared that publicly, but it's my reward system now is how many people can I help, and to pat my own self on the back for it. And it sounds selfish, but I'm still working on it. I mean, I'm still helping people. So I guess what I'm getting at is for those who may be in autopilot right now, try to figure out why you were using and what the best parts were when you were under the influence. If you know what I'm saying, they're really aren't the best parts, but like for me, being drunk, I love the attention, I love the atmosphere and stuff like that. Well, I could still get that, obviously, serving people meals, the attention, all that stuff, helping people, giving back to the community. I guess in a way, that self reflection really helps me out. I guess what I'm getting at, talking in circles here. So I'll shut up, but I guess what I'm getting at is try to figure out how, in a very healthy way, how you can replicate that. Don't want that to come off as a misinterpretation.
No,
Obviously, not wanting for people to go use, but I'm trying to say like we can get addicted to anything: sugar, video games, sex, gambling. Um, so what I'm getting at is try to figure out a healthy addiction, and right now is helping people.
um, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem with addiction is when you can't balance things, right? So
That's
just make sure you also work on your balance. Like a lot of people are addicted to their
that's
work and
true.
they don't even realize it, and it's that work life balance. So,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
yeah, you said you were gonna shut up. Now, reminded me of the story. I was giving the kids a bath last night, and Siri was going off in my earbuds. So I yelled, "Shut up, Siri!" And my partner's been, you know, trying to drill into them that "shut up's" a bad word. So my oldest goes,
Uh,
"Why you say that? Why? No, you say sorry, Daddy. That's mean. You say sorry right now." So I had to say,
so he made
yeah,
apologize.
yeah, I had to. Sorry, Siri. Good job, Daddy. Good job.
No,
So that
I'm
was
glad.
pretty funny.
I'm really glad you mentioned that. I don't want people to misinterpret what I just stated. Yeah, you have to find that healthy balance. Um, and I'm still working on that.
Yep.
I'm still working on that healthy balance of work, and right now I'm in that phase of work, work, work. And I gotta find that healthy balance.
So yeah, I mean that's something I'm adding into it is like, trying to get stuff for this podcast done because we've been trying to work on the audio, trying to get this technology to work, teaching ourselves how to do it. I don't really know anybody. I can just text and ask questions and like FaceTime and stuff. So trying to ask Google the right questions to get the answers that we need. That helps a lot too. And then I also asked the question, in this Facebook group that I joined. That's a bunch of podcasters, and nobody understood what I was asking, so that was cool. But anyway, one thing about the podcast that we ask you to do is, go rate us and give us a review. And we got one. And it was an honest review. But it was basically asking us questions. And I think they give us a 3-star out of 5-star rating. Like, yeah, that stinks. But at the same time, it's your opinion, like whatever. But the questions that they were asking were A, answered in previous pods, and B, if you want us to answer these questions, why aren't you contacting us the other ways that we ask you to ask us questions on? Like, that's where I got kind of I got a little stressed out about it. Like, I've got a little irritated. I'm like, the more I thought about it, it's like, why you're like, they basically explained sobriety to us. Like, oh, really? We had no idea. Like, basically, you think we're fake sober people? Like, we don't know what that's like? It's like, now I know what mansplaining on the other end feels like. So,
be honest, man. Be honest. How did it make you feel?
I was, you know what? At first, I was mad about the rating, but then thinking about it, I was more mad about the content because I agreed with the content. Like, that's why we're splitting the podcast up, because of that. Like, they had a really good point that we had already addressed in a previous podcast. And in it said, I don't know, maybe I missed a few episodes. Our episodes are numbered. Like, you reviewed this on episode 44. You don't know, maybe you missed a few episodes. Like, yeah, like that. And then it's a weekly show, so we're not going to sit here and pound on the same. Like, next week, we're not going to keep talking about the same topics that we talked about today. Maybe in 10 episodes we will, but we're trying to, like, right now we're focusing on sobriety a lot. And that's because we kind of let it get away from us in this show. But we also want it to be positive. Like, you can't focus on your triggers. You can't focus on the depths that you were in and where you kind of dug yourself out of every single week and keep it positive. So
this is not.
We want reviews. Yeah, we want reviews. We want people to give us their honest opinions. But I just feel like the questions asked in this are really good questions that I wish would have been asked on an email, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a Reddit, we have a Discord. Any of these, ask us any question, we'll answer it. So I'm going to actually read the whole review here. Go ahead, be honest, and then I'll read it.
Oh, I'll be quick here. I'll be honest. We most definitely appreciate reviews, and the beauty about it is we are two rational individuals who understand that it's your opinion, and we respect that. And at the end of the day, we respect you even giving us a review. We appreciate that, is what I'm saying. But for me, I just try to put myself in that individual's shoes. It would be very difficult for me to give 3 stars out of 5 to individuals who, no matter what, let's say if they're not even covering enough that you want them to recover, it's positivity, it's helping people stay on their recovery journey, or trying to encourage people to get on their recovery journey. So it would be very difficult for me to give a below a 4-star. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I would still, at the end of the day, be like, okay, they may not be getting, they may still be on surface level, which I disagree with. But even if they were, I would still be like, okay, I'm still going to give them 4 stars, maybe even 5, because no matter what, this is content that we need, that this community needs. So I'll be honest, I was a little upset, frustrated by it, but at the end of the day, we most definitely appreciate the review. So I'll let you read it, RJ.
So it starts, the title is Lacks Depth into Sobriety and Recovery. Like, sure, like our previous episodes had been there. We talked about that, but find the 2 guys don't get too deep into the sobriety and recovery aspect of their life, how it's affected aspects of their life, family, friends, relationships, significant others, etc. Addiction affects people deep, and getting to the depths would be an awesome asset. Might have missed an episode along the way. What are triggers? How do both guys reflect on themselves? Do you guys stop, Take steps back to look at yourself to ensure good choices, as addicts can have cloudy judgment. As addicts can have cloudy judgment. Is there more than addiction at play? Depression, anxiety, bipolar, anger. How do you cope if more than addiction is at hand? Depression, anger issues, anxiety. More vulnerability would be an asset for listeners that struggle with recovery. History of DV and anger, and ownership of addiction. Do both guys view themselves as alcoholics? Why or why not? Has relapse been in the journey for either guy? If so, how was that handled? Feeling, thoughts, and mood after relapse. Do you speak openly about relapse or hide it? Go deeper.
I think let me touch on that real quick. I think that again, we most definitely appreciate the feedback, but there are so many episodes out of the 44, 45 that we have where I talked about
Hmm.
DV. I talked about how alcohol made me. I talked about my stressors. I talked about when I was working in the hotels project, how stressed I was. Uh, I mean, we got very deep in a few episodes when I was working in the hotels project about my depression, about how I had to hop back into therapy, how I had to um, get on sertraline because of my depression. I most definitely mentioned that. So we just encourage that individual who left that review to just please just date back to some of our earlier episodes. I mean, I wouldn't even say we're talking probably in the 20s, right? In the 20s and
Yeah.
25 of our episodes are we've covered a great amount of that actually.
And those are great questions. Like I said,
Yeah.
I would answer all of them all over again. I just wish that they were put in, a different format, I guess. Not the
And we
greatest way to
don't use
reach
the word
us. You don't use what?
addicts anymore. That is a really um that has a real negative connotation to it. It's most a derogatory term in a sense nowadays in the mental health field and DSW. The word addict just has that addict like kind of connotation to it. But again, criticism is going to come. Obviously, you have to understand that if you're getting into this field of podcasting, just listen to all of our episodes.
And going forward, we'll read all the reviews that we get on air too. So people
We will.
know. And then usually I'll include um the username too. So, if you want to get shout out, we will shout out you if you ask a question on Facebook. Ask us a question anywhere about anything, we'll answer it. Some of this stuff we'll dive back into, but we're an hour in and it's been a really heavy show. We like to end with something a little bit light, so let's talk about one of the things that you and I use as stress relief now that I think both of us have been using a while, but we've kind of fallen back on it a little bit harder. And that would be video games. And, you had to start a certain game over again, Mons. You've been playing it a
I
little
did.
bit. What do you got?
I'll tell you. I'll be really honest here. I should have beat God of War. That's the shirt that he's wearing. I should have beat God of War long ago. I've been dragging my feet with it because it took me a while to kind of detach emotionally, which I don't think it ever will happen. But from Last of Us, again, I won't go down that path again. But when I spoke about The Last of Us, it had lasting effects on me. That's just how great of a story it is. But God of War, I've really been putting some time into it. But well, I've really been getting into it emotionally. And I'll tell you what, I can already see that it's going to be a great game because the combos that you can use are, I'm talking just pretty sweet. And I'm not even that far in,
Limitless.
you guys. Yeah, the combos that you can use are awesome. I like the creatures that you fight. And again, I haven't really gotten to a real boss yet, but yeah, I like video games nowadays because I like platforms that you can play video games on to stream. I love streaming. I love talking to people while I'm playing video games. I love that community. I think right now in today's world, any sort of positivity is what we're all yearning for. We're so polarized. So I think video games have made a huge jump in that the last 3 to 5 years with Twitch and everything coming out to create those communities of people who all just doesn't matter if you're Republican, doesn't matter if you're Democrat, independent, white, black, Mexican, Latino, whatever. It doesn't matter when it comes to a community of people who love video games, and you really see that when you look at Comic Con, we look at all that stuff. You have people from all different types, walks of life, and it doesn't matter. It's all about the same love for a video game, the same love for the genre of video games, the same love for community, and I think that's just what I love about video games today, and I think that really helps me as well. What about yourself?
I the stories, the stories, this the being able to tell real stories, being able to use fictional characters to make you feel emotions, to you know being able to, it's just so in depth. You can make yourself, they can make developers, whoever makes video games, they can make the player feel so connected to a character that you feel everything that happens to them. So but then also it's a great, like you said, social space. So like that's how I keep up with friends from high school that we live all over the country now. Mostly around the state, but we do have some friends that live in other parts of the country, and that's an easy way to get on. Everybody talk about what's going on, talk about your life, and then just have some fun while you're doing it. Do something. And it's a relatively inexpensive hobby too. So yeah, just God of War. I can't wait for you to get into that story. Like I said, that game made me a better parent, made me it makes you think, it makes you understand that all your actions have consequences based on your kids' reactions or what they think about going on later, or your relationship period with them. So that's why that game hit me so hard. So, and
I think what we're
I was gonna say I played it
sorry,
like
go ahead.
right after my oldest was born too, so that probably had a little bit to do with it being a new dad. But
True,
it
true.
watching you play it, uh, I'm definitely gonna be playing that game in the next, probably after I finish the Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, God, I love that game too. It's so cool. But just like the possibilities being endless. Um, yeah, that's why I enjoy video games. But we played a game we used to play all the time that we kind of put down. Now we picked it back up. That's Rainbow Six. Gosh, that game is so good, and we are not anywhere near as bad as we thought we were. So, but we've been playing. We haven't been playing ranked. We've only been playing casual, so that helps. But we don't take it too serious either, like we used to, like 2 or 3 years ago. So that helps. I'm understanding I'm just bad at video games now because I don't have the time to put into them to be good.
Mm. I think kind of what we're getting at here is because obviously some people don't like video games or don't have that connection that we speak about. So I think what we're kind of getting at is you got to find something. You have to. That's the responsibility on yourself. We can sit here and say video games help us, movies. I love stories as well. Um, we can name off many other things, but I think at the end of the day, there's got to be some responsibility on the recovery, and that responsibility is you have to find something. You have to. You have to find a hobby. You have to. Um, can't you can't just you can't just believe that you're good and you don't need anything else to lean on. You don't need um a health some sort of healthy medium to distract you from the stressors in your life. Um, you have to find something. You do. And ours is obviously video games, movies, music, um, and 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 reading. So I'm just trying to really put that out there for our listeners, where you have to find something. You have to try a bunch of different new things if you need to. But when I say try trying to find something. It's for me. It's I try to think back on things that made me feel joyful when I was a kid. 'Cause when you were a kid, that bliss that you felt, that obviously lose that when we get older because of bills, bills, taxes, work.
Well, I mean,
Um,
time too, right? Like you have a better understanding of time. So then it just starts. That's our, when you understand that time is our greatest resource and it's our most limited, that's when
so
things
true.
start to get more stressful.
Right. So I try to think back on. That's a really good point, actually. I try to think back
Darn
on
it.
like
I
what
just blew your
made,
mind. Now it's melted. I see it kind of coming out your nose there.
what made me feel it, just in complete a state of bliss when I was a kid. That was rolling up to my friend's house on a bike, seeing my other friends' bikes in the yard, knowing that they're all inside or in the backyard, maybe playing football in the backyard, but majority of the time inside playing Super Smash Brothers or something like it. And so obviously people have their own different memories of how they got to that state of complete bliss when they were younger. But for me, it was video games. So that's why today it's that same community that I love when I play video games, talk to people and stuff. It kind of taps me back into my childhood in a sense, to where you can just block out all the outside noise. You focus on the game, who you're chatting with, and all the the jokes, the laughing along with it while you're playing.
Also, Dragon Ball Z. um, one thing that I've absolutely loved is takes me back to my childhood. I got both my kids into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When the theme song comes on, they start dancing. It's awesome. My oldest will ask for it now. My youngest, who only says about 20 words, one of them is turtles, and when he says it, he means Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's cool. I just like
Oh
to shout
gosh,
that out. It's awesome. But
poisoning them already with that garbage.
just because you're jealous.
Teenage Mutant. We never. Actually, and I never got into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Obviously, it's a great, it's
I can't wait to show them the
cartoon or
comics.
what have you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, man. You got to find something. You have to find that medium, whether it's listening to podcasts, whether it's making music or listening to music, reading, playing a guitar, or you have to find something. Digging, get a metal detector and try to go find coins. You have to find something. You do.
Coming with the old man stuff. Um,
You gotta find hitting. You gotta because that reward system. You
yeah.
have to figure out to reward your brain. Get that same. You may not get the same, but something similar. You have to figure it out.
What what shows or movie have you watched besides Wonder Woman 1984, which instantly shot up in your top 5? What other movies have you enjoyed so much lately?
That movie's sad.
I just want
Movies.
everybody to know, or TV shows. Mott's came over and he's like, you know what? I really want you to turn on Wonder Woman 1984 here. You gotta watch it, man. This movie is kicking.
No,
It slaps.
nope, 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 nope. Worst movie. I think Battlefield Earth is better than that movie.
You
I
forgot a
really do.
T in there.
Oh, geez, I did. I spelled it.
So okay, what movie or TV show have you recently watched that you've been
Oh God,
super enjoying?
that's
Anything?
embarrassing. Actually, yeah, and this more embarrassing than me just misspelling a word right there. Um,
Oh
watching
God, you're gonna go there.
watching Vampire Diaries. But listen. Yeah, it's you know what you're getting when you jump into. I liked Teen Wolf, and then yeah, it's that cheesy kind of tween TV show. They're in high school. It's a love story. It's over dramatic, the melodrama. But if you get past that stuff, and again, we love stories. I'm capable of looking past cheesiness and following the plot, the story. Vampire Diaries is a really good show because obviously it's about vampires. Obviously, it's a love story. It's the typical, the girl who's not a vampire loving a vampire, figuring out there's more vampires, all that crap. It's awesome because
So it's True Blood.
identical. Seriously, but what I love about it though too is how they intertwine or bring in that intersectionality with the real world, with real life, you know, things that people face, and that being addiction. One of the vampires right now, I'm not, no spoilers, but one of the vampires, he hasn't had human blood in forever, and he had to taste human blood in order to heal, or he was about to die. So one of the characters had to give him her blood so that he wouldn't die. And now he's back hooked to human blood. He's trying to hide it. And when he walks around town and when he goes near her, you can tell if he's using or not. That's kind of how they did that. He will have some of the signs of someone who's going through withdrawals, human blood. And the long story short, I just liked how they kind of brought that into real world issues, and I hate saying issues, but things that people deal with. Um, that's a story that I like. It's like, oh wow, how is this vampire going to stay away from human blood? So it's just that intersectionality, that intersection that I like.
You should watch What We Do in the Shadows. I heard it's hilarious. So I haven't watched it yet. Hopefully I'll be able to get some free time that I'll be able to, but I've heard really good things about What We Do in the Shadows. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a TV show that started watching. I don't think I really have any, or even movies we haven't really watched much. I've been got Ashley into Demon Slayer, which is an anime that's really, really good. A really, really awesome, quick 20-minute episodes that, yeah, that's it. That's a really good one. And Ashley's super picky. So if she likes it, it's solid. So that's a good show. We started, what were we? We were trying to start the Haunting of Bly Manor, but my kids wouldn't stop watching the TV show, or stop watching the TV and watch their tablets, so we had to turn it off. Yeah, I don't really have much. I watched Shaun of the Dead again recently, and that movie is still incredible. Love that movie. So funny. It's so funny. If you don't find that funny, you don't have a sense of humor.
You only love that movie because Bill Murray's in it.
Shaun of the Dead? He is not in Shaun of the Dead. In there? It's a British comedy. He was in Zombieland. And that movie's hilarious. Before Bill Murray shows up, that movie's hilarious.
I got him mixed up. Okay. Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's... I feel like that there is, like, WandaVision just came out. I haven't watched that yet. I'll watch it eventually. Yeah, I don't have much right now, unfortunately. I've been focused kind of on getting this ready, which I got to get some more stuff going for it, which I kind of got the audio figured out. Got to clean the house because you clean it in 45 minutes, it needs to be cleaned again, but it needs to be cleaned again. I just got so much stuff going on. Yeah, I mean, on a good day, depending on what's on TV.
About 15 to 20 minutes.
Usually they follow right behind, pulling stuff out that you just put away. So
no, but as for new movies, I think we're just waiting for HBO Max, huh?
I got HBO Max.
Nice to release all those movies.
Oh, that you're saying those to come out? Yeah.
Brothers.
Right. I'm trying to. I don't know what movies are coming because I've not really been following them because I'm not going to the movie theater. What movies are on their way coming out that I'm looking forward to? I just don't know. Like Wonder Woman was one of them, but obviously that didn't work out. I'm gonna watch it. It's just a matter of I gotta have time. So right now with NFL playoffs and basketball heating up, both college and pros, I'm kind of watching that a little bit. Baseball's heating up. I gotta find time, and then video games too. Like the game I'm playing right now is probably gonna take me close to 100 hours to beat. Probably 35 in, I bet.
All right, let me name off these movies just real quick. Okay, we got just real quick. Scroll back up the top. We got Dune. Yep, Dune, Matrix 4. Um, John, I think John Wick. The next one 4. I think The Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, that looks good.
Is Tom and Jerry. Godzilla vs Kong.
Okay,
Conjuring.
okay.
Yeah, Space Jam with obviously LeBron.
We'll see.
Suicide Squad,
No, thank you.
right?
Although, do you know who's directing the Suicide Squad?
Ooh, Mortal Kombat too. I do not actually.
James Gunn. You
What's
know
up,
who that
Lou?
is? James Gunn.
Oh,
He did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
okay. I actually liked those movies. Those are good
Exactly. So
with action
if anybody can get those obscure characters brought to like
right.
prominence, I feel like there's a chance he could do it, but it depends on how much studio interference there is. Because unlike you, I enjoyed the Harley Quinn movie. Like there were some fun parts to that movie that I enjoyed, but I know you
See,
hated it.
there was because for me, I mean, I
It's better
thought there
than
was a lot.
Batman versus Superman.
It's not. There's way too many bells and whistles, and then once you get past those, the smoke and mirrors, it's like, okay, let's get down to the plot here. It was a very poorly written plot. Let's be honest. There, a little girl swallows a diamond. That's the plot of the movie, and people are chasing the little girl. Now, again, yeah, there are simple plots out there, but if you go with a simple plot, like what was it like? I've actually never seen the movie, but Pulp Fiction. What was it all about? What's in the briefcase?
No.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie. But very simple. You can have
That
simple.
are you serious? You think that's all that movie was about? That's a very complex movie. Like there is basically no plot
I mean,
to
I
that
know it's a
movie.
comp
It's like
Tarantino.
it's like
I
a
know it's
bunch of short stories that all add up together. That's why everybody liked it. Like there really
like
was
that,
no plot in that movie.
like that movie Crash, which there's a plot to Crash, but many stories that
Kind of
are in the
intersect.
world.
Yeah.
But anyways, that Harley Quinn movie, what was it called? Birds of Prey. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
man, that
The
story was.
glorious emancipation of one Harley Quinn or something like that.
Here's the thing: no one cares about Harley Quinn when she's not with the Joker.
I enjoyed it. That's all I'm saying. I
There's
enjoyed it.
such a Bonnie and
Woman
Clyde.
power.
Who would care about Clyde without Bonnie? Who would care about Bonnie without Clyde? Who would care about the? I mean, the Joker obviously could stand alone as he has been, but I'm sorry, Harley Quinn doesn't have much of a fan base. To I'm not saying this in a sexist way. This is just my opinion, fact. I mean, who cares about Harley Quinn outside of her
There's
not being with
a
the
show on HBO Max called Harley Quinn that is supposed to be hilarious, and it's a cartoon, so animation.
in
It's
order
supposed
for
to be
them to
good.
continuously right. I think in order for them to continuously make movies of Harley Quinn, they need to really dive into how and why she fell in love with the Joker. If they can pull some psychology into it, kind of like how they did with the movie Joker, I'm drawing a blank on who wrote that, but pull that psychology aspect into it. Like, how did this woman fall in love with a sociopath, murderous thug? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Explain the show me how she was show me that mental struggle, that mental tug of war that she was going through when she was in Arkham Asylum, providing him with therapy or what have you. Show me that. Because obviously her heart, I'm sure there was that tug of war. Oh my God, I think I'm falling for him. No, I can't fall for him because I don't, he murders people. He's a sociopath who murders people. He has no feelings, except all that, whatever. Show me that. Give us a foundation of Harley Quinn, then I will respect these Harley Quinn movies. There's no give me a backstory. If you can provide that for me, then it's like, okay. And obviously I can probably find those in the comics, but show me that on screen of how this woman fell in love with the Joker. Then I think we'll have a story. But Birds of Prey was just this her getting this kid because the kid swallowed the diamond, and there was no story.
Spoiler alert. Well, thank you for that in-depth look into how you feel about Harley Quinn. All right, where can they find you, Mons?
Yep. But I do not want people to think that it's such a misogynistic viewpoint, because it's not. It is not.
Too bad people already thought that, so they're coming for you.
Yeah, that's the part that's going to be annoying. But anyways, you guys can find me at Monte Ball 28 on Twitter, Instagram, Monte Ball as well. Our Untapped Cake pages on all social media platforms. Message us. If you have questions, please email them to us or message us, and we will answer them and give you a shout out. RJ, where can they find you?
You can find me at It's Trickster, ITZ, the I is the one in Trickster. Untappedkeg.com. We gotta update our our website a little bit. We got some more pictures we're gonna throw up. Probably we're gonna take some more pictures. Maybe some videos. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see here. We got Reddit. We got Discord. All Untapped Keg. You can find us anywhere. Untapped Keg at Google or at gmail.com if you want to email us. There's a link on the website that you can click on. There's a link on the Facebook page if you want to email us. Send us a message on Facebook. Anything. Leave us a review, please, on iTunes, on Stitcher, or on all podcast services. If you look us up, you'll find us. I spent a lot of time to try to ensure that. Look for Untapped Keg Sports, which is coming out on Fridays. By next week, we should have a new feed for that as well. So those will be posted in that feed, and then Untapped Keg will be this show. So we'll look for some more positivity next week too. But I really enjoyed deep diving into sobriety, and yeah. That's the whole point of us doing this. So thank you everybody for listening, and hit us up with any questions, even if you don't want it, if you just want a one-on-one. We had Corey reach out a couple weeks ago, and we gave him a call and had a conversation with him. That was awesome. So we're willing to do that. So one thing we did last show, gonna continue it here. I'm gonna shout out Feet, Commander Root, Casino Thanks, Brock _24, A10, another TV viewer, Abbott Costello. Thanks for checking us out. Any questions, hit us up. And everybody, let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today, because at least if we failed, we're trying. So you have a good week. We will also try to have a good week. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do that thing. See ya.